I'm Purushotam. I'm 22 years in business. I'm a Pakka Chennai Payan. So technically born, brought up in Chennai. I saw the problems in the factory. I was hardcore in the factory doing things. And technically that is where I felt like that factory people are struggling a lot. And there is no tech available. The idea is to bridge these two gaps and work on that intersection point where customers will really feel that there is someone who is able to understand my business process and he's not selling me neither a product nor a vertical. And he's knowing my problem and he's able to give right solutions. So all these sort of complex to simplest maturity curves are high volume, repetitive, transactional, then business process oriented, logic driven. All of these use cases Creator can fit in. And that's where Zoho in this last so many years, I think, have built a phenomenal platform which can take away all these stress which is there in business process and make it friction free.
Hey Purushottaman, thank you
Hello,
so much
hi.
for joining us here. It's a pleasure to have you here finally. So let's start with the easiest questions of all. Can you introduce yourself?
So I'm Purushotam. I'm 22 years in business. Particularly, I come from strong manufacturing background, and then I pivoted to core quality, where I was managing quality assurance for one of the largest KPO business in the country, particularly in supply chain. Then I got an opportunity to work in a very interesting field called shared services. Then I moved to shared services for a large conglomerate in Bombay. I was there for almost 6 years there. Then primarily after that I got a greenfield setup again for a shared services for a cement company. So I spent some 2.5 years there setting up the entire shared services for them. Then by the time the entrepreneur bug hit me, so somewhere 10 years back, I took a decision to move forward to a business mind where I just started working on building my own portfolio. And that's how Yashuss was born. So Yashuss is nothing but, it's a Sanskrit word, Yashasvi Bhava. I just picked up from Yashasvi Bhava, Yashuss. And if Yashuss means it's prosperity, success, glory, healthy, whatever you call it in the good term. And technically I want to coin it along with a thing called it should be infinite. So technically I picked up unlimited. And that's how Yashuss Unlimited was born 10 years back. We are in the 10th year of inception now. And ideally, me coming from manufacturing, strong hardcore manufacturing, more from maintenance, then from core assembly line, then I moved to quality. I was spending time in terms of supply chain quality with large conglomerates through one of the service companies in India. And then I moved into shared service business. Then all of this experience, what you call, pulled me into a business model where I am working in today, where I saw that there are a lot of challenges the customers are facing in terms of setting up digital transformation portfolio, and that's what Yashuss does all about. So whatever we do is primarily not work on a product related portfolio, which is some companies you will see in the tech space, they will say I'm an SAP company, or they will say I'm a what you call Oracle company. This is how people speak, or the companies position themselves. Or somebody will say I'm an IBM partner. This is how people position themselves. And there are companies which says that we are retail experts. Some companies will say we are pharma experts. People speak like this now, but when it comes to a process owners like a CFOs or CEOs or CIOs, when they try to visualize themselves, for them to become digitally nimble, it becomes very challenging because you don't have this intersection point of a product and a process when anybody speaks from outside. And this was the pain I went through when I was running shared services, when I talked to multiple product partners, multiple system integrators. They all speak in this dimension. Either they are in the product dimension or they are in the what you call vertical dimension, which never converge. It means the business guys has to invest a lot of time to connect these dots, and this becomes extremely challenging. This is where the problem statement of Yashuss was. When we were trying to brainstorm why I need to pivot myself from a well cushy corporate job where I was doing really good, happy go lucky guy, and I was having money was not a problem, and position was good. I was able to manage a large portfolio of team, but still I was not able to find that mojo of why I should do this. Right? When I started looking at this, I see this problem has to be bridged correctly. And that is where I thought, let's move into a business. Let's move into a model where I was able to do really well. And technically, that's where this company was born. So the idea is to bridge these two gaps. And work on that intersection point where customers will really feel that there is someone who is able to understand my business process, and he's not selling me neither a product nor a vertical, and he's knowing my problem and he's able to give right solutions. It's like going to a doctor, right? Two people have headache, but as a different treatment journey altogether. So Yashuss is a doctor to a lot of customers, where we are trying to understand the problem statement of a customer in an exactly right fashion and try to see what fits for them. And to do that journey, we have multiple product partners. Zoho is one of our large portfolio where we deal with all the most of the products we deal with. Even the upcoming product like IoT is also we are involved in terms of getting the work done. So technically Zoho fits into that ecosystem, and likewise multiple product partners are there. So Yashuss works on the space for the customer where we understand the problem correctly, and for to solve that problem, like how a doctor recommends you a medicine, which is Doloper 650, Crocin, Benadryl. These are all the things. So we mix and match these things and provide that in a platter to the customer for them to consume. That's what this company is doing all about in this last 10 years.
That's a well put answer. Thank you so much for sharing that, Purushotam. So, to take a step back, where did you do your education and
So I'm a Pakka Chennai Payan. So technically born, brought up in Chennai, and I didn't study well. Honestly, if you ask me, I had a lot of aspirations to do good studies, but I was a little disoriented or very casual in my life during my school days. So I did my schooling in Ramakrishna Mission, one of the good schools where I was morally grounded. I was able to align myself to what things to be done in the right way and principled way of approach. And then I did my diploma in CM Kothari Technology. The institute is no more, CMKTA we call it. And I was very focused on doing machine tool maintenance, because right from my childhood, I think my parents saw me some of the very interesting thing. I can assemble, disassemble things faster.
Oh.
And I used to read high-end educational stuff in a really quick way, and I'm able to assimilate, articulate, and explain to people in a faster fashion. This is what my parents saw me. Maybe this is my inner trait, and also they also felt me that I'm pretty calm in nature, where for me a sort of alignment will happen when I am trying to go into engineering. They never saw me into the space where every parent aspire their son or daughter to be in a medicine field and next step is engineering. But they felt me that I'll be core in engineering. But as I said, I was a little casual guy. I didn't take it seriously in my school days. Still a good student, but I still didn't take it seriously to the level what those time expectation was. So technically, I went into not into core engineering. I went into diploma. But still, I did really well there. I liked that subject. Machine tool maintenance was my favorite subject. I was really a good, studious guy, and I was able to understand the principles really well. I generally don't go to the outcomes, rather, I try to understand the fundamentals really well, which is a Model T design. So I went to that Model T design of understanding those pieces really well, and I was able to implement in my career. So that's how my education journey was. After I finished my diploma, I immediately joined a company, which was a TVS group. I was working as a maintenance lead there. We call it as a foreman, which is a very, very, what you call, you can't relate to that designation today. But you can say in a common current modern terms, it's a maintenance lead. So I was managing the mechanical side of it, where I was managing die casting maintenance, and I was planted in Hosur. So technically that 5.5 years went all along in maintenance. So after my studies, I immediately moved into this space. I started early in my work, and that's how the journey was. So from Chennai, I went to Hosur, then automatically life took me the way it has to go. There is no planned stuff. It just happened on the way.
You just went with the flow.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I was going through your LinkedIn profile yesterday and I came across that you have 20 plus years of professional expertise. You have worked in organizations like HCL, L&T, to name a few. And now you are a partner for IBM, Microsoft, and Zoho, and a couple of other companies too. So how did this transition happen? Can you shed some light on this transition?
See, this transition is because of the pain I went through. So technically, it's all comes. So when you realize yourself that you're going through a lot of pain, when you run a technology office for corporates, and when you see so much of noise happening around you, you know the problem exactly because you are in the game. You know the problem exactly. But when you try to talk to people or when you try to see outsiders, you see there is a lot of challenge in terms of them conveying the right essence what you want to hear, right? And this digging becomes a big challenge. It drains your energy, and that is where this idea of moving to a company which understands customer problem better, listens to the customer better, like a doctor. It's simple, like a doctor, right? And if you see a good surgeon or a phenomenal doctor who is successful in his career, listens to his patient really well, and he's able to empathetically connect with them. And technically, a pain is something which is unfelt, right? An external guy cannot feel the pain, but he needs to understand the pain in a different form and fashion. And that's what I want to build this company for. And that's what I was going through as an emotional trauma when I was working in corporate as a head of IT for 2-3 companies, where so many people come and speak to me, but they speak in their language. They don't speak in my language, the way my CFO, my CEO, my CXOs want to understand. And generally, the gap is too big to bridge. And somewhere or other, I didn't feel like this is not the right way to do business from a tech service perspective. And that's where the pivot is. That is aspect number one. Aspect number two, me coming from a manufacturing background, I saw my factories are completely analog. They're not digital. And by design or by accident, by God's grace, I was able to bridge between these two worlds. I would say in what I call Avengers parlance, two realms, right? I have two realms. I was able to move between this fast. And luckily, my brain was able to understand the problems a factory guy is facing on a daily basis, right from the laborer to the CEO of a factory who runs that company on day-to-day basis to meet his cost, meet his revenue, meet his bottom line and top line. Likewise, I understand what a tech company go through, right? A company which is fully running on back office. So technically, one of the pain point is none of my partners whom I spoke with or whom I interacted with to a larger extent was able to talk a business language. They are talking, but they are. I can feel that they are pushing me on sale. Right? They are not helping me or educating me enough for me to take an informed decision. I can see that people are pushing me for a sale. Every time when the door is getting knocked, I know this guy is going to sell me. This feeling was there, right? This is one of the biggest pain points. This feeling was there with everybody who is there on my side, right? Every CFO, every CEO, every guy who is sitting on the other side is seeing the other person coming that side is only coming to sell. That's one problem. Second problem is this factory was a pain, and I was somehow or other at 19 years of age, at 20 years of age, I moved into work very early for me. People come after graduation, masters, and some people go for abroad studies as well, or some people go to doctorate. I went in a very early age. I was a very young mind, a clay. I saw the problems in the factory. I was hardcore in the factory doing things, and technically that is where I felt like that factory people are struggling a lot, and there is no tech available except an ERP and except the machine tech what is available today. There is no bridging tech. So the idea of Yashuss is primarily to bridge these two. It means to understand the customer really well and technically to see how we can bridge this factory with the tech, which is a bridging tech and which can connect to back office. Is there a way where my organization can solve these problems at scale? So I call this as so everybody wants to see factory produces good products, good quality products to the customer. But I want to see it the other way around. I want to say factory as a product. Can I make factory itself as a product, which is clean, neat, integrated, data driven, and people are having ease of work at them on a daily basis, like how I use an iPhone today, how I use my car. If I take a BMW, if I take a Bentley or any car which you drive today, is the ease of use. And at home also we are bringing in more smart homes, ease of use. Is there a way where we can make the factory much more digital and make it like a product? So these two touch points, two ends of the spectrum was the trigger point for me to move here, to leave the corporate job. Anyway, I was frustrated with the way tech services being positioned to customers. I was really pissed off, and luckily there is an opportunity for me, which mild window opened. I just jumped in. It's a blind jump, and I think in 10 years it worked well.
And rather than trying to figure out or complaining about the change, you try to bring a change to the market.
Yeah, see, you will find cribbers. I was just telling Srish as well during the call, there are a lot of cribbers, right? Everybody wants to cry. But are there people who want to solve? Are there people who want to inflict the change for people to become better, people to become healthier, companies to become smarter? Is that the path which you need to do? I can be a cribber, honestly, but I have a 60-second limit in a day. I say 60 seconds I can be negative, nothing beyond that. So 60-second limit is what my limit to be negative. I also can negative. I'm a human. I also have negative feelings. That 60-second limit is what I limit myself to be negative. The remaining all of the time, I'm trying to help people, help companies, or try to think in the direction where I can make them live better and see where my company can reach that next milestone. Next milestone, let's say if it is a $5 million goal, $10 million goal, a $20 million goal, a $100 million goal. How can I move the company forward? How can I diversify, become a conglomerate in its own nature? Because I'm a first-time businessman or a first-time entrepreneur in my family. coming from a very orthodox, typical jobby type family. I'm the first, what they call, like Loki says, right? A time branch broke. It's exception. So I broke that exception to become an entrepreneur in my entire family tree. None of my both sides, nobody is in business. So I was the first guy moving in this business, doing everything on my own, fully self-funded company. So I said, then we do really well, because you are in a service business. We are not in an innovative stuff. You're in a service business. Do really well, like what Tesla did in car market, right? So technically, automobile is everywhere. There are fantastic cars, right? You drive a BMW, you drive a Bentley, you drive a Jaguar, you drive Mercedes. You feel that you are on the pinnacle of your life in terms of driving. What Tesla did, they just did that job really well, right? It's the same logic. Apply in your business where you are in service business, highly competitive, highly mature, highly saturated market, and the space where you deal with your product partners, which is like Zoho or multiple other products you deal with, do it really well. And how best you can do is apply your intelligence, apply your expertise, apply your skill, apply your width and depth of product portfolio, and see whether you can combine a right primordial soup for a customer, for them to consume, which is technically life for them. So that's the game we are trying to play as a company.
Awesome. So before we say like how you stumbled upon Zoho, can you share us like initial challenges you faced in your earlier career life and the learnings you took out of it?
See, technically, I come from manufacturing background to a large extent. So it's all nuts and bolt business, right? You actually go in depth into understanding the engineering design of a machine and where it can have friction and technically solve the problem. It's like a surgeon's cut.
Yeah.
It means if you are in maintenance, you need to be a surgeon. You're technically a surgeon, a cardiac surgeon or a neurosurgeon or a brain surgeon, whatever you call it. Technically a surgeon trying to solve the problem of a machine. But there is no tech involved. Right? There is no way, the times where I worked, there is no soft tech available for me to remotely monitor. I need to physically go to the machine. And this I have done, I think, a minimum to minimum 5,000-6,000 times in my life. I would have gone to the machine daily, I would have touched the machine, felt it, then tried to solve the problem. It is a pretty Lego block game. You need to break, assemble, break, assemble. This is what the job was. Now, when I moved into software, I found everything is possible for you if you integrate the machine.
Yes.
These two problem statements were not available in the place where I worked. It means for the customers whom I dealt with, primarily India to a large extent, this is not available to them in real world. And technically it become really challenging for them to connect these bridge. And physically you need to go to every place for you to solve the problem. And that is where I felt we need to have a really converging tech which can connect all these dots. Now that is where the searching started happening. It means when I started searching in the market, the search was intrinsically aligned towards this. It means to go to the market and find out, are there tech available which can bridge these gap? Because a lot of people who are pure software guys will not understand of a machine, right? It's not their problem. That's the way they are built in. A factory guy, if you go and ask a typical factory guy, will not think beyond what is available for him as a manufacturing tech. So my search was bringing those convergence points. Like I said earlier, I want to bring those convergence point as a delivery module for customers. And that's where I started thinking seriously that can I inflict that change to the customers? And that's where it happened.
Perfectly. But you mentioned you being a doctor, like you mentioned Yashuss being a doctor for multiple businesses out there, right? And Marvel reference to a couple of questions. So I'll come back to a limited questions on that part too. But before that, how did you stumble upon Zoho? Like, when did you come across Zoho as a
So that's a very interesting point. 9 years back, when I was trying to analyze what should I do in my life, because I decided to quit corporate life.
Yeah.
I said I'm tired of this 9 to 5 stuff.
Which year was this?
Which is 2014.
Perfect.
14, 15 types. So I was like, really said, I need to do something on my own. And technically, when I need to do something on my own, what should I do? Now, one of the biggest learning I had, luckily, I had an opportunity to work with a lot of CFOs. Okay, I never worked with CFOs in my life, nor a chartered accountant in my life. By God's grace, I think before I go into this particular topic, I'll tell you one of the interesting point that happened is August 18, 2010, right? 7 p.m. I still remember that moment. So my manager, who was there, Mr. Mandeep Singh, he was my manager. So he called me to his cabin and said, Puru, I joined in his company as a quality manager, okay, because I come from a strong quality background, manufacturing. He thought I'll do fantastic job in quality. And incidentally, I did a decent job. I don't know whether I met his expectations, but he called me in the evening. I was reporting to him. He was, I think he was a president or vice president for the shared service. He called me. He said, Puru, tomorrow onwards, you need to start doing tech. I said, that's not something I'm built for because I have never done that stuff in my life. So, but he said, Puru, you need to do this. I said, sir, I don't have a clue because I am not a tech guy. I know manufacturing. If you put me in manufacturing, I can do really well. If you put me in quality, I think I can reasonably do a better job because I combine both these worlds. But tech is something I am not built for, nor I know anything about it. He said, no, Puru, you do it. Let's build the team. So the interesting pivot happened is like this also applied when I started my company. So I took a decision basis 2-3 critical parameters, which I used to tell to my team or I share with a lot of people. The reason why I'm sharing is you can go to the wider audience for a lot of young people, aspiring guys who want to move to business because that's where the life is. So 2-3 important what I call the flashpoint in my or the neural circuit rejigged for me was primarily can I take this risk? So and risk means is it high adrenaline? Because I am not adventure junkie, but in terms of work, I want to look at high adrenaline stuff. It's really challenging for me. So the answer was yes. Second thing is, can I believe this guy? Right? The manager who is there with you or the guy, can you believe the guy for some form or fashion? It's like the Dhoni moment, right? You need to have that moment. Otherwise, you can't take the decision. You can't take a bet on anybody because you're investing your time with someone and also investing on a cause with someone to grow. Can I bet on this guy? Is he a right guy to work? I felt yes. It's a feeling. It's there's no data for it. Okay, it's a feeling. The third important thing is, can I see a vertical growth? Right. I come from a very normal salary, right? I also want to reach that 6-figure salary or beyond that. Is there a possibility where I can see a high rise? Because it's also need to be a little selfish, right? You will need to see your growth. Otherwise, there is no point doing all this. It's not charity business in life. So when I felt these three clicked really well, right? Then the fourth important aspect is, which is what a lot of young people today or businessmen miss today, can he be a mentor for you? Because today young minds don't have that. For me, it took 37 years to find some guy to teach me what is time. Because everyone treats things as a commodity of, it's all money, right? Everyone looks at money. Money is just a commodity. But the most fundamental constraint in life is time. He was the first person to give me that reflection that time is a commodity for you. Work fast. Look at areas where you're not, it's a blue ocean. And he was giving me those insights in his way, or he would have said it not in explicit words. Somehow I'm able to connect those dots. And I said yes. And that started the journey of me pivoting to what I am today. Now, if I future forward, if I say, like what Steve Jobs said, right? You can only connect the dots backward. If I connect these dots backward to the time when I decided to jump, the second biggest jump in my life was that particular moment, moving from a quality to a tech guy and running a large tech solution service, which I never done in my life, right? So ideally, these are the decision points on that moment on August 18, 2010, 7 p.m. Likewise, in 2014-15, I had a personal dilemma. Should I continue this job or not? I was not happy with what I am doing. It was not satisfying. And I felt that there is a higher calling, right? I can do better things in my life. I can do better things to a lot of people in the area where I work with. So that calling was there, that bug was there inside, that urge was there to do something better, and same parameters apply. I said, is it going to be like a really, really, really adrenaline pumping, high energy, high intensity, self-motivated drive? Because for business people, right, there is nobody else can motivate you. You need to be motivated. That's why 60-second negative limit, right, in a given day. So that was the first parameter. I said yes. Then the next check which I said is, do I seek to work with highly intellectual, capable individuals in my life? Should I need to seek for it? Or should I need to seek for people who are below me or above, next to me? Is it the calling should I need to have in my life to work with higher plane individuals who have achieved a lot, who have seen a lot, who have gone through success stories or gone through failure stories, who can be my aspirations to go? Is it something, will I get an opportunity like this? The answer was yes, because in corporate it's very difficult to get. The hierarchy chain is too difficult to break. And third important thing is, will time be in my choice? Can I maximize my time? Because if I have a 10-member team, it means I am getting at any given point of time. I'm doing this podcast now. I'm not actually contributing to work. I'm talking. And technically at this moment of time, if I say I'm actually getting 10 man minutes worth of my time in my bank account. Every second, every minute I spend, there are 20 people, 30 people working for me, and the 20 people, 30 people are contributing to my time account, time bank. So I was trying to validate between time and money. Is money a primordial commodity for me to earn, which I anyway earn today? Even if I go to a job, I will get well paid for my quality of work, or should I convert that into time bank as a long term? So these parameters is what clicked me to move to business, and I just decided, let's wind up this. I just put my papers and started the business, and that's how the shift happened. And technically, when the shift happened, one of the most fundamental thing which I need to decide is, can customers come with me at a very affordable rate? I don't want to sell BMWs to them. I was very clear. I don't want to be a product guy. That's something I don't know. It's my choice. I have taken that choice consciously. I don't want to be a product guy. I really want to be a guy who can do exceptional service to them. I might make mistakes. I might make mistakes. I might fail 10,000 times, but I really want to do exceptional job in every minute I spend with my customer. For that, what is a fantastic product I want to choose, which also has the same essence of thinking, right? It has to align. Marriage happens that way. Then only you can work synergized. You will work at a real speed to grow. And when I was trying to look at this, one of the things which hit me really hard with Zoho is a story, right? And second important thing is, it came from Chennai. I'm a Chennai boy. I like Chennai, and I always believe that why you have big companies run mostly in north. Why not Tamil Nadu has, except TVS, except let's say Murugappa Group, then few other companies which are there, you don't find aspiring companies in the country from Tamil Nadu. So technically that was a real what I call aha moment when I found Zoho. And Zoho's philosophy is also to keep their thing is simple office, home office is what Zoho as a catchword. Maybe people read it as ZOHO, but technically at the back end, it's the way founders thought about it, right? It just hit me hard. I said, man, that's how we should look at it. And when I started researching about Zoho, I found phenomenal combinations of suites of products, which is 10 years back. They were still building a lot of stuff. I felt this is what the need is. Now, I pivoted back a little bit to economics of the country, right? We are not an advanced market. Advanced market means they have seen it all to a larger extent and they want painkillers to be given, which means they have chronic problems in their existing tech stack you need to solve. That's what the Western markets are. India is a budding market. We are still at the sprout of your growth. It means we are now accelerating to the peak. It means there is a product which has to grow through the customer. You can't fit an advanced product into an immature ecosystem, right? There is a component of process literacy, there is a component of digital literacy, and there is a hockey stick, which is change management. Technically, all of these touch points has to connect well for a product to sustain. And Zoho fit in this ecosystem really well for me. When I try to analyze it, they just fit in perfectly well for me. And I said, man, I should hit it. And that's how I said I'll go aggressive. And my first product which I tried to engage with 9 years back was Creator. So I started with Creator partnership as a company, and then we built it. Then we built all products. Today, I think we have touched most of the products. I think 48, 50 odd active products are there. We have touched more. An upcoming product like IoT also, I just go in because I come from that manufacturing background. I am all out for this. And there are multiple other products we work, but I felt that this product has that business OS mindset, which can make life easy for Indian customers. And we are a large consumer. We are the second largest consumer segment in the world. And the speed at which we are bringing in maturity in your manufacturing, in your technology, I think Zoho can do a wonderful job. And that belief is still there. That's why I'm so passionate about this product. And I think the choice was right.
You spoke about Creator. Which was the first use case for the Creator which you implemented?
See, we were trying to evaluate it for an apparel company. So particularly that is where I was trying to evaluate. And technically we were evaluating OutSystems, we were evaluating Liferay, we were evaluating even Laserfish for that matter. Then we were evaluating custom application build. And technically that's the time we were also looking at Creator as a product. So technically the requirement for the customer was to have a fantastic UI, which 10 years back Zoho Creator didn't have it. It's a pretty upcoming product. But the choice of doing that, when I did the evaluation, this aha moment hit me from a perspective why this product can be a good fit for multiple domains and multiple industries. Maybe apparel was a very unique use case where they're asking for some crazy stuff. But there are platforms, there are industry verticals, or there are domains wherein which this creator can be a boon, where they don't have the maturity curve, they don't have the digital literacy, they don't have the process literacy. Creator can be crazy stuff for them. And that's where I said, okay, let's get the partnership signed with this company. And all of these parameters, what I told you, which is the touch points for me to jump in, and my appetite to sell, because I am also not a sales guy. Now I am doing sales to a large extent because it's my own company. But in corporate, I am not a sales guy. I was a paka implementation guy. I can go all out do implementation. Touch the thing, I can feel it. I can get this sort of. I'm a mechanic in my mindset. So when it comes to sales, right? I can't sell a 100K product. I think I have a limitation to sell. It's my inherent limitation. So I said, is there a possibility where I can get a product where I can sell comfortably to a customer? So that's where this creator thing hit me. And when I looked at Zoho portfolio, it hit me right. I think these guys are on the right track in terms of cost. For me, fundamentally, we are in a cost market. We are not in a technology market. Here people say, even though implement tech, right, they say, how much is it's costing me? Tell me that first. Then I will decide whatever it is. So in a cost sensitive market, I think the product is at a highest value. If I look at these two dimensions, I think Zoho is number one in that.
Perfect. You spoke about you've been using Creator from the past 10 years. How have you seen the transition evolving?
Well, it's transitioned really well. So when I saw the product 10 years back, it was pretty infant, walking, just started walking. But if I see it today, I can use it like, what do you say, an octopus, or I can use it like a nerve center within a company where it can connect multiple things. Let's say if I put this creator into a bank, let's say a neo bank, the new age bank which is there, ideally creator can become their enterprise service bus of connecting multiple touch points. Let's say if they have a licensing guy who is doing underwriting stuff. Let's say if there is a guy who is actually working on the front end, where technically the customer front end is there. You have a brick and mortar offices of bank where there are touch points available in the front end, where they interact with walk-in customers on a daily basis. Then you have a self-service online portals where it's available, where the information has to flow into the back office. All of these touch points, and plus the core banking which you have, creator can be the middleware, smartly built. I think creator has reached that maturity in these 10 years with so much of implementations Zoho Creator as a product has done, along with the OEM team, which is technically Zoho Creator team, and your partners whom you have worked with. I think it has transfers a journey over this time for the last 10 years. I think that way I see, from what I saw 10 years to where it is now, creator has got that cutting edge capabilities which can do wonderful job today. Like it can take the load of an enterprise, of a high volume business, then high transaction business. I think and creator is ready to take that load today. That's my belief.
There are two questions in the next frame, Pushu. So one is Creator for all the industries out there, or is it limited to specific industries?
So I will give you a complex use case for you. Let's take the case of aircraft engine maintenance. It is pure MRO business, right? India is coming into this MRO business heavily now, with a lot of people investing. Now in MRO business, the biggest problem is the engines are leased. The engines, aircraft engines are leased by individuals to carriers, right? Or it could be through insurance agencies or multiple things. Now, how do you bring a use case here? Today, this entire thing is workflow driven. It means from the engine embedded systems, I need to integrate it into a workflow platform, which will tell me how many hours the engine has run in a given window of time. That's what paid. The engine owners get paid for the hours flown. So if the embedded systems can integrate through an ESB, which today Zoho Creator has got its own platform where we can integrate that information, ingest that information to Creator. I can even use Catalyst. You also have, Zoho has got a vast ecosystem. We can use Catalyst as an ESB layer where I ingest that information from the engine. Engine systems, I ingest that information. Creator has got its standard workflow, which is other side is my engine owners, other side is engine technicians, which are technically the guys who are repairing the engine. All of these guys has to get the visibility today. Now, if a new age space tech company, which is trying to solve this MRO problem for customers, today market has got expensive tech tools available for them, which a company cannot afford. Let's say a startup cannot afford such components to buy in technology. The physical world is there, but the bridging tech is today expensive. In that case, creator can be one of the craziest use case which you can deploy for. It means Creator becomes your workflow management engine, both for the engine owners, engine tech, and engine service back office, engine services related back office business. And technically, you just need to connect it to this engine systems through Catalyst. You create Catalyst as a what they call ingress layer or egress layer, which connects to your engine systems. Data comes in through IoT platforms. You already have an IoT. If that is possible for you to integrate through IoT, bring it to Catalyst, stage it, then use Creator to connect to all these network and reverse engineer back the workflow. It means you already have a functioning workflow design available. You reverse integrate back into the what I call the core engine systems as and when you need. Right? This sort of combinations today is very difficult to do for a startup. That's where Zoho comes in play. I'll give you a different use case. Let's say you have in a factory. I'll go to the most what I call common use case. Let's say in a factory where you are having preventive maintenance to be done, condition-based monitoring has to be done. You want to do breakdown maintenance. There are a lot of factories cannot afford an ERP plant maintenance module because it's really heavy for them. They might be having F&A, which is technically finance and accounting. They might have warehouse management system, but they cannot afford something which is like a preventive maintenance module. Now, Creator fits into that game perfectly. You can completely like a presidential tailor. I can actually customize a suit for that factory using Creator. Right? I can actually build the entire maintenance management module for a chemical engineering company, a paint and lubricant company, or an auto ancillary manufacturing company. Multiple use cases we have. That is something we can do. Now I'll go to a complex use case in manufacturing itself. Now, manufacturing, if you are an export oriented manufacturing unit, you are complied by the international standards. It means if you're an automobile company, classic use case for many people to understand, you're supposed to follow TS 16949 global standards.
Yes.
It means you are going through PPAP, you're going through APQP, which is PPAP is nothing but production part approval process. You have APQP, which is advanced product quality planning. Then technically you're going through your design FMEA and process FMEA. These are the core fundamentals for you to get certified. It means an external guy will certify your product for consumption in his automobile or as any vehicle only when you go through this process. Otherwise, you will not be able to be, you are not export worthy unit. This is a problem automobile companies face today. All of these process is in paper. Now, I can real time integrate in Creator. It means these are all standard forms, content, business rules, logic, I can integrate and give it to my external customer through a customer portal is available in Creator for the customer to consume in real time. It means as soon as he gives me my engineering bill of materials and his drawing flows through Creator, then it goes through manufacturing BOM, manufacturing drawings and get back to this entire production part approval process to the customer for him to sign off. And we anyway have Zoho sign. If customer wants to digitally sign or he has DocuSign, you want digitally sign it. This entire process today, it's a paper trail to a large extent to a tier 1, tier 2 OEMs or tier 2 manufacturers. I can digitize it. That's where Zoho Creator comes in play in a quality management system. So I gave you examples, a complex use case like an engine hourly monitoring, a transaction use case like a maintenance management system, which is a pain. Customers don't want to go for ERP based maintenance platforms where they want to go for such custom modules meeting their requirement. Let's say you want to go for a quality management system, which is a nerve center of your company for growth. You can use Creator there. Let's take the case of a back office. Let's say, for example, you are going to work on a back office. Let's say it's a direct to commerce company. Right? Your front end portals are e-commerce engines, but back end portals are millions of orders are coming in. Now, you want to process those millions of orders in real speed. It means the D2C companies, their back office is all pathetic. It means it's not too structured. You will find it really difficult. They are physically doing a lot of stuff. Maybe front end will be really digital, back office will be really manual for them. In that case, if you want to put Creator there, all the e-commerce orders which are coming in from their front end portal through Instagram, through Facebook, through multiple other social media channels or through their own portals can ingest back to workflow engine in Creator. Then it goes to multiple touch points, which is external, internal, and then it gets processed in real time. This is also a combination we can use. So all these sort of complex to simplest maturity curves or high volume, repetitive, transactional, then business process oriented, logic driven, all of these use cases Creator can fit in. And that's where Zoho in this last so many years, I think have built a phenomenal platform which can take away all these stress which is there in business process and make it friction free. I think you guys have mastered that. It is like customers who need to understand the need of such platforms at an optimal cost. I'm not saying we need to, it's not cheap, it's still at an optimal cost, but at the highest value they can get, which other platforms struggle to do. Unless and until you have a fantastic digital pipeline available with you for 3 years with a subscription fee, what you pay, and if you are very poor in your digital maturity, if you are very poor in process maturity, investing on a high-tech platform is a risk, because you will not be able to get the return. ROI is very poor there. In a creator scenario, if all of these are no to you as a business, then creator is a choice. As simple as it. My digital maturity is poor. I have not done too much of tech implementation inside my company. My teams are learning on the go, right? That's a big problem. And I also don't want as a company to invest in tech team. I want to invest more on business. I don't want to have high tech team, right? Full stack developers, then DevOps guys. This is all I don't want to invest, because I don't understand. I don't want to do it, right? In that case, and also your hockey stick change management is very slow. If these 4 or 5 parameters you say tick tick tick, yes, you don't need to look at any other platform. Simply go to Creator. That's how I talk to customer, help them understand. You please understand this. It is not about a choice of buying a high-tech platform in the market. It's about choice of what you can consume today. Later the time when your maturity curve is good, where everyone understands, go migrate from Creator to a different platform. It's good. It's your business call. But today these are the things you need to check. Because this is what I used to educate when I used to work. So I don't want to go for any BMWs or high-tech platforms which are cost heavy for me, where my maturity is zero.
Perfect.
So that is where I see Creator as a positioning which can help you scale. Customers need to understand this. There's something has to educate these customers continuously, so that they understand the value of what Creator can bring and then grow from there.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned earlier, like Zoho has multiple offerings and you have used a couple of the platforms. When a customer comes to you and presents a business problem, how do you see that which particular tool of Zoho is suitable for this particular business?
Yeah. So to answer that question, I don't look at from a Zoho perspective. I look at it from a process perspective. Now that process demands Zoho Creator. Zoho Creator is a fit. We do that fitment evaluation. But if process demands a combination of Zoho product as a fit, we give combination of product. So that's how we were able to venture into multiple products. So we deal with CRM, we deal with books, we deal with payroll, we deal with expense, we deal with Creator, we deal with IoT to a certain extent, upcoming product from the platform. We deal with Manage Engine, we deal with SDP. So all these combinations we deal is primarily because it's coming from the customer's need. So I don't go with a fixated mind. Like I told you, I'm not a product guy. I don't say that I'm a creator guy, nor I say that I'm a retail guy. I am trying to understand the problem of a customer and how deep rooted his problem is and where is he struggling. And with that struggle, see what sort of combination of products on the Zoho stack will fit in for him. And if budget is a constraint, I'll go back to my filters. And I also try to understand, is his process maturity really good today? By seeing the documentation, by seeing the way he's trying to explain me the process, by seeing the way his team is able to articulate the problem statement really well, we understand, we sense that they need help. And do they have tech maturity inside their company? What type of tech they use? We try to understand that. Then we also try to understand the touch points. Is it high volume, highly repetitive transactions? And is it business process driven, logical driven? These sort of touch points we try to understand based on experience. And then we see what sort of combination we have to put in, depending upon the functions we combine. So that is where either it can be a creator-based solution or it can be a multitude of Zoho products given as a bouquet of service. It's like what you get in a marriage, right? Event management guy, right? What he does, he manages haldi, he manages the food, he manages the entire reception of the entire people coming in. All of this put together, right? That's what we do.
Any particular use case of your customer base that you came across that Creator being implemented with different Zoho products?
Oh yeah, there are many. So 2-3 use cases which immediately come into my mind is primarily one of the important use cases primarily for manufacturing, where they are trying to reduce their quote to customer time. So earlier it used to take 3 to 4 days. They want to cut it down in hours. And ideally they were trying to explore their hands in CRM. But considering manufacturing being a complex vertical and in a heterogeneous manufacturing company, it becomes very difficult to customize CRM to a large extent. There are a lot of limitations inherently come in play. Now, in that case, we try to evaluate Creator, and Creator was a phenomenal fit. Now, when you try to use Creator, there is also another problem in manufacturing that you need to forcefully integrate yourself to SAP. You can't avoid that. There is no way you can avoid that process, right? So technically, when we are integrating with SAP, it brought its own challenges. So we are able to combine these two platforms, along with the entire engineering drawing floating around the entire creator equation, which is also another challenge to solve. And plus, technically engineering drawings are floating, and Zoho being a SaaS company, customers are forced to push ourselves into their intranet. It means all these sensitive content, confidential content, privacy centric content has to be available in their own storages. It means there's a necessary integration to be done. It's a three-way integration. The input comes in, floats back into their own storage systems, comes as a hot link with an expiry set on it, and technically you integrate all the content once it is done back to ERP. So this is one use case which I worked. The second use case which I worked is primarily on particularly where we connect the different touch points in a manufacturing process again. And how do we connect all of these touch points for them to get the final outcome related to a service. Let's say if they want to get a service done for a particular problem statement, there are multiple touch points happen, which is an inventory touch point, there is a storage touch point, then you have availability touch point of a technician, availability touch point of let's say for example a particular use case for that entire life cycle. So all of this back tracing has to be done through the current process what they have. Now their creator was a good fit, so we're able to integrate that. So these are some of the things which come out of my mind, which sees creator as a nerve center which can be used really well.
Any other current industry you're working apart from manufacturing?
Oh, there are few crazy use cases. So we are trying to solve a problem of a customer who are primarily into subscription management, a very complex subscription management. We are trying to use combination of Zoho products along with Creator being the what I call the main nerve center.
Like Octopus you mentioned.
Yeah, like Octopus. It connects multiple dots to make this entire subscription management at scale to manage the back office. There's something I'm really looking forward to solve. We have already the final leg of closing the entire piece. It's going to be really a classic use case. I would say it will be, to me, in my 10, 11 years of working with Zoho, it will be a pinnacle of a use case which I can solve. That's what I feel like. It's like we are stretching the limits of Creator to its horizon. So I'm really excited to look forward for that particular implementation.
Perfect. Apart from all these customer stories, any support or maintenance services you provide to your customers after the implementation?
Oh yeah, so we do the end of life services to a lot of customers, and also one of the important thing which we do is we generally do hypercare for at least 4 to 8 weeks. It's part of our delivery portfolio. That's something we generally offer to customers. Plus, because they being actively associated with us in terms of license renewals, then in terms of implementation services, we also provide them the most of the times L1 support. It means we help them solve a lot of their queries in terms of educating them, training them, and also share them the product upgrades which keep coming in, because Zoho also releases a lot of knowledge articles which are primarily important for a customer to know in different products. We try to share to them on a periodic basis and help them solve. So that process is what we try to do with a lot of customers, which is technically a combination of hypercare, L1 support, and as well as any paid support which you do. Let's say if you come with a mini CR where you want to do, we generally go for a paid support. This is how we sustain the customer over a period of time.
Okay, Purushottaman, apart from the usual questions, let's dive for a quick rapid fire session. Your favorite Zoho Creator feature?
The workflow and the ease of use with workflow from a perspective of a non-techie can make that happen is something I really love in Creator.
One particular thing, one particular capability of Creator you think has a potential to grow in the future?
So workflow, forms and fields and validation is something which I think Creator can master, and Creator will have more success stories in the days to come.
If you have to give Creator a tagline, what would it be?
Neural network.
Oh, perfect. Okay, your business inspiration, you look to someone.
Elon Musk at any point of time.
One particular thing you love about him?
It's a width and depth he goes into any subject, and he's passionate about the future, and he's the most positive person I've seen in whatever business icons I could see, and the level at which he can think scale is phenomenal. So this is what something inspires me, and that's what I also want to do for my company.
Perfect. Any go-to hobby of yours apart from your work?
Driving is something which I really love, and I think the power and the performance combination on a road is what something I want to enjoy a lot. And considering that we have good road network now, I think it's something fascinates me a lot.
Perfect. To end this rapid fire with a sweet question, what's your future goal for Yashuss and as well as for with the Creator platform?
See, Creator is something which I am confident about that we can take to different domains, different industry verticals, and try to bring that complexity on table. and with the experience, expertise of Yashuss for the past 10 years and the near years to come, I think Creator will be a good fit for us. And we can bring in those functional expertise as well as a technical expertise on top of Creator table and get customer a good success story. That's what we think from a creator perspective. Personally, for the company, I think we are at an inflection point where I think we are one of the very few companies at the size and scale where we are in. We are trying to merge a factory as a product domain and a technology space, like where we are in, into a convergence point, right? And I think this convergence point is something companies are looking for today for a company like us, where we become the single stop shop right from the time we start with the engineering service. We also do manufacturing of machines. Then we couple that with the entire technology landscape, like what we have in the Zoho stack or any other product stack which we work with. I think this expertise is something which I am really betting on for the future, where we become a single stop shop for companies who are aspiring to work with us, or the companies who are looking at such capabilities to come on table, so that they don't need to catch multiple necks. One company can deliver all of this end-to-end portfolio at scale and size what they want. So that's the pivot. I think Yashuss Unlimited as a company will go forward in the years to come. In the next decade of our emergence as a significant player in the market, I think we'll go there.
Perfect. To end this beautiful conversation on a sweet note, any particular learning you would love to share to our viewers?
So take high risk is what something I will say, and have a 60-second negative slot in your life on a daily basis. And third important thing is be aspirational.
That is something which I'm taking from you, the 60-second thing.
Yeah. So I think these three are something which I always say as a motivating factor for you in life. And find your mentor. I think I had wonderful opportunity to get a mentor in my life, and that person shaped my life forever. I think the change happened forever. I think I can't never go back to what I was earlier. And also have someone who is highly aspirational in their life with you, right? Because without those set of people, it's highly difficult for you to grow further. Because these are the few learnings from what I was earlier to what I am today, or where I am thinking myself to go forward, makes a difference. And one last final note is to primarily learn. So reading makes you better. So read as much as possible in the time span you have. I think that what you call widens the entire horizon of what you want to do. That's how I see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Purushottaman.
Sai.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
for your
time.
time.
This was really a beautiful conversation. I hope our viewers would love it too.
Yeah, looking forward to.
Thank you.
Thank you.